Thank you. Hello, it's good to be back with the Dodos, and so thanks to Patrick for inviting me, and thank you to all of you for coming. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fizzing, lively poems tonight, but you can sit back and relax for 10 minutes now. The theme of my first set is men, and I'll begin with a new sequence of 4 poems called Angel and Man. Angel and Man, number 1, after a line by Toon Telegon. An angel kissed a man. The man wiped away the wet imprint, scowled and turned to the open window, raised a finger at the world. With a slam he shut out the wind, stomped from the house to his white van, reversed into the road, gears crunching, and drove to work. All day he boasted to his building mates, "I thumped him one, I slapped her around a bit." But when they stopped for coffee or a cigarette, the shape of the kiss persisted like a sore festering on his forehead. He scratched the place till it burned like a brand cauterizing some pestilence seething underneath his woolen hat. Angel and Man, number 2. A man woke to hear an angel singing, so he reached from his bed to check the radio hadn't been on all night. He ran a shower, but the swoosh of water over his ears hardly drowned the voice. He dried himself and looked in the mirror, appeared no different, but thought he might be going mad. He banged his head hard on one side with the heel of his hand, but couldn't shift the heavenly voice. He coughed, retched up mucus, scoffed toast and gulped tea noisily, as he always did. Again he checked the radio, the TV, the ringtone on his mobile phone. "I'll flatten the bastard doing this to me." Glowering, he grabbed his football scarf and stormed off for a liquid lunch with the gang before the match. "What's up, mate? Some tart done your head in?" "Something like that, mate." "Nothing a few pints won't put right, eh, lads?" Soon the angel's voice was masked by raucous laughter, lost in the rackety hubbub of the pub. Later, the angel was kept at bay by the crowd roaring football songs and racist chants. Outside the stadium, a scuffle. He threw a few wild punches and forgot about the irritating voice. Men in blue appeared from nowhere, handcuffed him and led him away, swearing and spitting. He didn't sleep a wink in the cell that night. The shrill soprano rose to such a pitch the light bulb high above him shattered. But who was going to believe that? Angel and Man, number 3. An angel brushed him with her wing to let him know she was there. He had ignored her presence close behind him till a fan of feathers swept lightly over the nape of his neck, cooled the air, made him shudder. He could do without this in the supermarket. It was starting to snow, so he was stocking up on bacon, sausages, tins of beans, soup, beer. She persisted, so he tried to appease her, adding angel cake, angel delight, crystallised angelica to the wire basket. The checkout assistant examined the cake's layers. "Pretty colours," she observed. "Got a new girlfriend?" "Get on with it," he grunted. She pursed her lips, shook the acid green angelica. "Planning to poison someone?" He scratched his neck roughly. "Looks like an allergic rash," she said. "You'd better get some antihistamines. Medicines are on aisle B." And the last one is Angel and Man, number 4 in this sequence. The telephone rang, and the man picked it up but said nothing. The angel's voice flowed from a distance. "How are you?" He inhaled roughly on a cigarette, gave no reply. "I've been wondering how things are going," she enunciated brightly, never mentioning the unanswered messages. He coughed deliberately into the mouthpiece, not answering. "Have you had any luck on the work front?" Her words fluttered along the line, but fell on metal studs. "I don't know what the F you want, or what you're effing talking about," he yelled, and slammed down the phone. now for some much nicer men. The next poem's about a man I saw on Richmond Green who made me slow down and think. It's called Red Hat Band. Dashing to work, taking a short cut over Richmond Green, birdsong puts spring in my step. In the distance, a man catches my eye in cream trousers and a Panama with a red band. He stops to survey listed buildings, solicitors' premises, domed theatre, Georgian terraces with magnolia-filled gardens, then leans on his stick to catch breath. Nearer now and clearer, his face is pale, no smile for me as he struggles to make progress on home ground, the morning stroll taxing his strength. I think of my father in his final months wearing a checked cap for protection from the sun. This bright day, the man with the red hat band gives me pause. I'll stop rushing quite so fast to meet my deadlines. The next poem is about a young man, my brother, who died in a climbing accident on the Isle of Skye when he was only 22. He was climbing in the Black Coolin mountain range. The Black Coolin. What fatal error undermined your skill when you set off without a glance behind upon the slopes of those forbidding hills? Escaping to the mountains and their thrill with trusted friends you knew to be your kind, what fatal error undermined your skill? You ventured out alone to breathe your fill, a short walk in the sunshine to unwind upon the slopes of those forbidding hills. The sea lay tranquil and the island still. I wonder if their magic made you blind, as hidden peril undermined your skill. No one was there to see you fall and spill your youth and all the plans you had in mind upon the slopes of those forbidding hills. The Black Coolin captured your free will and shrouds the jagged fact so we can't find what fatal error undermined your skill upon the slopes of those forbidding hills. And now for a poem inspired by my son, who was so passionate about fishing that he went night fishing on Dungeness Beach in sub-zero temperatures. Snowbird. Breasting the blizzard, she swirls through veils of light to the shoreline, where he unhooks his catch, holds out whiting on raw hands. She hovers over the slippery meat, feathers warm in the harsh air. Too cold to speak or follow, he watches her circle once around the shingle beach, to vanish gladly on bitter wind, fresh fish in her belly.
You're not going to leave at half time?
No.
Well, that was Frances with I think, an incredibly moving set. I hope you'll agree that was really powerful and emotional and good stuff. So, more applause, please, for Frances. Okay, now the second of our Kent refugees who's come up to escape the flooding in that part of the world is here tonight. He sailed up on whatever